If they are at the limit and they cannot think properly because they are in survival mode, thinking about their existence, then I would say just ask for help. Come out, be vulnerable, share your heart. I believe, or this is my belief, that when you do it from the heart, grounded, you're not in despair. I was not in despair when I asked for help. I was in despair before, but when I asked for help, it was a conscious decision. I'm going to ask for help, and I'm going to do it with intent. I firmly believe that I'm living the consequences of my actions as well. So if I'm living through something, there is part of me that is co-creating this situation. So I focus on, okay, let's figure it out. What is the best that I can do in this situation? Of course, I'm not always capable of having that mindset.
Welcome to Team Up with Beata, the podcast at the intersection of humans and AI. Join me for honest conversations that help you collaborate better, build healthier teams, and feel optimistic about the future. Together, we'll explore how to lead with empathy and navigate the future of work with confidence. My guest today is Rafael Rafa Ribeiro, a tech leader, agile trainer, and a coach. With over 25 years of experience across software development, leadership, and human development. Rafael started his career deep in code, building complex systems and leading large technical teams, before shifting his focus to people. Over the last decade, he's helped leaders and teams strengthen delivery, communication, and emotional intelligence by blending software engineering, psychology, coaching, and immersive experiences, like surf training in Lisbon, where he's currently based. You may have noticed the photo of Rafael on today's podcast cover. As with every episode, it's intentional. I invite my guests to choose an image that carries a personal story, and Rafael's reflects his belief in presence, balance, and leading with your whole self. In this deeply personal conversation, we talk about Rafael's recent experience of reaching out publicly for help, navigating hardship and vulnerability, and what it took to find light on the other side. We also touch on sensitive topics, including suicide. If this conversation brings anything up for you, you'll find a few support resources in the show notes below. All right, let's get into it. Rafa, welcome to the podcast. I'm so grateful that you agreed in this special moment of your life to appear on our podcast here. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Beata. Thank you for inviting me.
I ask all my guests to send me a photo of a memory that made them feel happy, fulfilled. And you've sent me a photo of you surfing. Is that right?
It was giving a surf class, and yeah, I was giving a surf class. I was getting out of the water, and then sometimes we have a photographer shooting the students, and she shot this picture of me.
And why is that photo so special to you right now?
So interesting enough, the photo was already special before the current events that I'm living through. Surfing and giving surf classes is not my main gig or my main job, but it's one place that I feel that I can be full, connected, and inspired by nature all at once. And the day after that, I shared a recent video on my social networks about the struggles that I'm living currently because of not having a clear direction, also influenced by the consequences of divorcing the mother of my daughters. This very next day, I went to give a surf class. And after sharing with pretty much the whole world, not literally, of course, but my close world of friends, family, and professional colleagues, at that surf class the very next day, I felt so light, so free from shackles, from masks, from weight. It was light and it was weightless. So this photo represents for me this happiness of both doing what I really, really love doing it, which is taking people to the ocean and helping them learn how to surf or experience a different connection with the ocean and with themselves. And also the moment of lightness, of being weightless, because I stopped being fake, or at least I was truthful to what I was living at the moment.
How has that experience of sharing vulnerability out there on LinkedIn changed the past weeks for you? Because I think it's worth mentioning to listeners that I've spotted your post, which was very vulnerable about the changes that happened to you in the recent months and how has this last year been for you. And you are extremely honest and vulnerable publicly. In this day and age, I don't think many of us have the courage to be so brave. What happened? Maybe let's go from there. See, even I get moved. What made you think, that's it, I'm going to LinkedIn, I'm going to ask for help? What happened to that point that you said, I have nothing, maybe you said, I have nothing to lose?
It was a series of events, and if we want to go all to all these links and moments, we're probably going to need a series of episodes. But there were two that were immediately on the day before, or if I remember correctly, at the very day that I shared. One was having a call with someone that is currently going through the cohort program I started in October about abundance, which is quite ironical, and at the same time it's not. I launched a program about abundance and then get into this really scarce moment of financially speaking. And I was talking with this person, and she tells me, Rafa, people don't know all the amazing things you do. Like, you don't bring it out there, all these parts of yourself. And I was not only thinking about this in terms of my products or services, because inside I knew that many people from different areas of my life, be it work, sports, family, friends, they never got the chance to really know me in my full self. So almost like I'm one person for each of these areas. So when she said that, I was thinking about this. And at the same day, I took my daughters to practice, and I was just working on my laptop on a personal project I'm coding at the moment. And one of the fathers of other children see me at the cafe with my laptop open, with VS Code open and me coding. And he goes like, "Do you code?" Like, completely shocked. And I'm like, yeah, I do code. And he like, I could never imagine this. And so it kind of like crystallized what I was talking earlier on with this friend. And that made me think, especially people in my professional circle do not know, one, everything that I do and all the pieces of myself, and most certainly don't know what I'm going through professionally as well. So first I thought of releasing a video that would be covering all the things that I do or all the parts of myself. But then I thought, but that's not what I'm really, really experiencing at the moment. At the moment, I am feeling despair. I am feeling doubt. I'm feeling guilt as a father of not being able to properly provide to my daughters. I am feeling hopeless. So instead of fabricating another mask or another version of me that is like, oh, it's so cool or successful in a way,
yeah,
let me break the pattern and really, really share, which is also part of me, but not so beautiful, not so fancy or perfect or successful in a way.
Successful in the way that you define it, or the society defines successful?
Especially other people. It doesn't even need to be society. So another reason why I feel that I have been living through many different masks, personas, and costumes, depending on where I am, is because I am mostly driven and motivated by external recognition. And this has been a pattern and identified as my personal development journey. So I'm kind of creating these personas depending on where I am. If it's in the family circle, what's the perfect brother or family member for my family? And then almost like a chameleon, transforming myself into that version. Professionally, in the agile world, what is the perfect version of an agile coach or an agile trainer or whatever it is? And then morphing myself into that. So because of this constant shape-shifting, I got tired. I got frustrated and like, okay, but who I am exactly? And so that post was like, no, I'm going to share who I am, at least in this moment, what I know for sure. And I think this was the one reason of the impact of the video, because it wasn't at all a makeup video. It wasn't me trying to sound accepted in something that other people are expecting. In fact, it was the complete opposite. I had people come to me and share like, hey mate, I went to another friend of us and asked like, is Rafa doing a social experiment? Like, is this for real?
They thought it's a stunt or something.
They thought it was like probably something that was not 100% true, because they had no idea that was happening. And I think also that confirms how of a mask I was living, because if caught people completely off guard, then they were having other perspective and expectations of what I was living at the moment.
That's really interesting. I think we are asked to be adaptable, especially in the coaching world. Yet we are chameleons, like you said. We are the chameleons trying to adapt and being flexible to adapt to different situations. Yet it's really hard when this happens to, on that scale, I think. On that scale.
Yes.
Why do you think people are doing that? It sounds silly, but why do you think we as human beings are sort of forced to put these masks on for different, to family, like you said, within the work? We are going through a incredible shift right now in the world where not just AI is disturbing how we work, live, what we learn, how we interact, but also the entire market has been shaken by what we know as the massive layoffs in the industry and jobs that disappeared. Why do we feel like we need to put these masks on?
Well, there are multiple dimensions and angles to this question. So one, the coaching that I study, and it's based on something called the Enneagram, which tries to understand human motivation, most importantly. Some schools go on the tangent of personality and try to put people into boxes. I like the deeper version and more motivational aspect of this work, which is trying to identify what's the real need people act in that way. And thinking that to be loved, accepted, and respected, someone needs to be successful to others is only one of the motivations that may exist. There are others that people need to be brave, to be loved, accepted, and respected. People need to be knowledgeable. But mine, ever since I can remember, was to appear successful in the eyes of others, to appear, to adapt to their expectations of what is good. So I have this drive ever since I can remember. Secondly, in my reflection, okay, this is not,
yeah, of course,
no scientific study, but the way that social media has been developing, where everyone needs to create, I don't know the word in English, but a stand, a commercial stand about themselves.
Performance, perhaps.
A performance. And this can be social or professionally speaking. So it's tapping into this energy, this vibration of being accepted by others. So it's almost like everyone now, especially people who work by themselves, which is my case, and you are as well, we also need to do our marketing, especially through social media, if we don't use other channels. And that by itself ties our financial success, our ability to make projects, on how other people see us. So there is this whole, let's say, pattern of people expecting acceptance from others. And we now see it in kids, in content creators that start from a really young age, already living in this, I do things so that I can see the reaction of others, and then my self-worth is dictated by that reaction. The number of likes I have, the number of comments, the engagement I have. So this is creating this movement in the whole world where everything you do, it only has value if other people recognize, and how much and how many people recognize this value. So these are the two angles that I mainly think about this expectation of others. The whole AI change, I believe it's just what it is. It's just another cycle of change. I have started working in IT close to 25 years ago, and I have witnessed many of these cycles. I think what's happening is just the scale of the cycle. It's not only in IT anymore. And I was watching a video today and looking at the trends in the AI world. Even the same content creator, the same, let's say, YouTuber, in 1 week, they say, for example, you need to learn N88 because this is going to change everything. Next week, forget N88. Gemini Pro is the thing that you need to learn. 1 day passes, forget Gemini Pro. Claude is the thing that you need to learn. So people are as well in this speed of like, what is the market dictating, which is what is valuable, and then how other people react to this. I fear the impact this will have on humans that are creating their personality at this moment, the young ages. Growing up, seeing their value dictated by what other people feel about them or like about them.
Can you see that already on the nearest and the dearest to you? How they develop based on that social media is dictating, or their friends are dictating what it's cool or not cool?
Definitely. I don't know if by unconscious fear or not, my children don't have 24 access to technology, especially not internet, which is interesting because I was one that got access really early. But
so
I have
you see the risks.
Yeah. But I see people that I know that have children, when they get, for example, in secondary school, sometimes even in primary school, if there is a child who do not have a mobile phone that has WhatsApp capabilities, like a just old phone that only do voice calls and SMS, they are excluded from the groups because they cannot be inside, for example, a WhatsApp group. So you already have inclusion dictated by technology access. And then the level of cyberbullying happening in children that had like 9 to 10-year-olds. Like they go into WhatsApp groups and they start saying things about each other. And I have a friend who had her son experiencing like massive cyberbullying, and he was 10, 11.
Yeah.
So definitely this have an impact already on the younger generations.
It's very scary because I can't even imagine myself as a 9-year-old, reading. Even a simple book, a storybook was affecting me. I was dreaming about it every night.
Yes.
What is this character doing and going through? And the kids these days, they have to face something bigger than we did, our generation. I say our generation because we are exactly the same age.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's scary, and some countries are putting restrictions, obviously, and we'll see how that experiment works in Australia at least. I'm having hope, but I don't know. Everything is a big question mark right now. Definitely.
Yes. If we are at the same age, I don't know how it was where you grew up, but I faced bullying. But it was bullying that was happening in the physical world. So unless I was being bullied by a group, physically you cannot occupy the same space in time. So there is a physical limitation of the things that can happen to you, unless you're like being beat up by a whole group. When you go virtual, there is no physical limitation, right? You can receive 40 different messages at the same moment in time, and you're just being bombarded by that virtual attack, which you can take it much deeper than the physical, because it's what you interpret of what's being said. Like a bully sends you a message, and in your head you imagine their voice much more powerful than it is. You imagine them bigger than they physically are, because it's all being interpreted by how you also see yourself, your level of self-confidence. So I'm worried also about this generation, because the level and the impact of both the physical and the virtual have on the psychological side of things, the emotional side of things. And it's out of control as well. It's out of sight. It's unregulated. Physically, you would have instructors or teachers that would see it happening and maybe intervene right after the moment. Virtually, the teachers are not on those groups. They are not witnessing the things happening. So scary. So no mobile phones to my daughters until they are 16.
Would you recommend that with to other parents that they limit the technology? I mean, you've worked in technology almost all your life. Would you say what would you advise for them to where could they start when they feel like
I would not advise anything, Beata, because one thing that I know for sure is that parenting is the most complex project that any human will work on. So, and we learn from the agile world that complexity does not create predictability. It's the opposite, right? But I can tell what I'm going to do with my daughter. So for sure, I prefer to help them deal being excluded from a group because they don't have WhatsApp than to deal with all the other possible consequences of them having a mobile phone with unlimited access and being in those WhatsApp groups and having all those things happening to them. So I prefer to deal with the consequences of like building a really strong self-esteem, helping them feel good about themselves. And then if they are excluded because they don't have WhatsApp, all right, I'm going to help you, I don't know, deal with that, or come up with ways where you can find friends that are also excluded from WhatsApp, or just occupy yourself with stuff that does not require the virtual world. So I do a lot of sports. They luckily also enjoy a lot. I don't force them to do it, but if they find a sport they like to do, I motivate and encourage them. And until now, it has been working. I don't know if it will work forever because, again, I cannot predict. I cannot recommend. I cannot recommend as well because I don't know other people and their children.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm doing.
You can't force anyone.
Yes.
To change, even if no matter how hard you try. Also, if you don't know the path forward, right? Speaking of technology and AI, do you think like that is something that's pushing us a little bit more away from who we really are, from the creativity that we once had, or do you think that it's the opposite? If you could pick a side.
Again, I'm gonna go easy on the answer, or on the easy answer, because more and more I'm living, or I'm trying to live outside of polarities and more in the inclusion of probabilities. So I believe both. I'm gonna tell about me. I have been helped so much creatively by using AI tools, especially because I was working by myself. I was in a more inward direction, so I didn't create conditions to have other people brainstorm with me or to go to public events. I was not feeling that I was in this vibe. So AI have been my brainstorm partner, and we have been having amazing discussions in terms of what I could do, the angle of the project, planning a session, whatever it was. I also noticed that if I'm not mindful of it and where I use AI or how I use AI, I was losing my identity. And maybe because that's the whole moment of life I'm living now, which is finding out my true identity. So I made a simple decision, which is whenever I'm writing a post, whenever I'm planning on a workshop, the main ingredients come from me. And making as much as possible the effort of not just pushing out something that came from an AI model. Okay, this is what AI gave me. Based on what I gave them, I'm going to edit this so that it's my voice coming out.
Do you feel like that sometimes takes even more time than it would take you in that? Because, okay, so I was writing something recently and editing images and so on. And then I was like, if I just took a pen and paper and draw this, it would be half an hour. But here I was 8 hours later, still trying to find the perfect model, the perfect angle, maybe using AI. And then, of course, I've gained a lot of skills. I've learned through that process. But if I was on a very tight deadline, I don't think I personally would every single time take AI as a partner when you're a solopreneur like me and you. I think oftentimes it really helps to maybe talk to other human beings, right? Something that's exactly what you did. You went out there and you tried to say, I'm asking for help. I'm here, other fellow human beings, and see what the human beings come back with, right?
Yes. And it has happened for me many, many times. As I mentioned, I'm also still coding. I love to code, and I'm working on some personal projects.
What are you working on? What are you working? Tell us what you're working on. What are you coding? Because you've been this was your first sort of
Yes.
a job. Can I say it in tech? Was to code or?
Yes, technically my second job. The first one was working in IT support. So I would build computers, help set them up. Also the network servers as well, the cables. I even once actually helped passing the cables through the elevated floors, and then making the connectors, arranging the cables on the arranging the cables on the server room, and etc. And I remember after teaching one specific person in, I don't know, 2 months, for the 7th time, how to compact files using WinZip, I decided this is not for me. I won't survive long in this line of work. Nothing against people who does it. I have ultimate respect for it. In fact, at every company and every job that I worked, I always clicked with people from IT support and DevOps, because I've been there. So I know the struggles, or at least some of the struggles. But I decided, no, I want to learn something else. And an older friend at the time said, hey, we have this thing being launched at the moment, .NET. It was close to 2000, 2001. Why don't you learn it? And I said, okay, I'm going to learn it. And that's it. So that's how I started my coding career. And I loved it, and I still do. Currently, I am creating my, let's say, personal assistant, but not in the terms of AI work. More in terms of, for example, my relationship with finances has been money will come ever since I can remember. I am the person who only knows that they are out of money when they're going to pay something and the car declines. And like, oh
dear.
Yes. And I was married with someone who was the complete opposite of me. So the mother of my daughters is like someone who has a spreadsheet that knows exactly what comes in, what comes out, has a plan for budget. I in our darkest moments, when we were really, really low on money, I would call her and say, hey, Felipa, can I have a coffee out today? and she would look at the Excel and say, yes, you can, or no, you cannot.
Oh dear.
So that was my relationship with money so far. When I got myself alone and going through this crisis, I thought, okay, so this is happening for a reason. I know the reason. Basically, I don't know what to ask for life or from life, because I don't know who I am in total, or I don't know exactly what I want to do. So how can I ask for a client or a project if I don't actually know if I want that project, and etc. So I'm good with that. And I need to know where my money is going and where it's coming from, because I'm not with someone who does this for me anymore. I have 2 daughters. I have to have a more organized relationship with money. So I started building my personal finance assistant in a way.
Amazing.
Yes, mainly to change this relationship with money. And then I noticed that there are other parts of my life, especially as a solopreneur, that can receive some help in terms of technology. So that's what I'm currently coding. I already have the first version working. Some people close to me wanted as well to get access to it. So let's see. I don't know if it's going to be something out of this, but that's what I'm currently coding.
Yeah, that's really impressive, actually, and inspiring, because side note, I do have a really big problem with numbers itself. So I don't have problem with money per se, but I have problem with numbers. So I have to see them to be able to grasp them. So that's why, similarly to you, planning things can be a little bit YOLO.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit like 3 cappuccinos, drinks on me, you know.
Yes, yeah,
So I
that's
think
me as well.
what you're building, it's very interesting. But I know you've also been building. Is it a company or is it a process? You called it Abundance Flow, and I have a hard time naming it because I don't want to say this is a company you're building. It's more of a transformation that you help people to go through. Can you tell us a little bit about
Yes.
why first Abundance Flow came to place and what does it do?
I'm going to name something that you will feel connected to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's experiment.
I love
It's an experiment.
I love experiments.
Yes.
How did you know? How did you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I have met you before in a context that this word makes sense. Yeah, for sure.
So it's an experiment. Okay.
It's an experiment. And the reason why I started this experiment was fundamentally to help me live what I was living in terms of financial struggles, identity struggles, and also to break a pattern, a generational pattern of the men in my family, especially.
Okay.
As far as I know, even my great grandfather was someone who was able to manifest and to create businesses really easily and with the same speed and easiness lose everything. And then my grandfather was also like that. And my father was also like that. Just in my experience, my father created and lost 4 businesses. So I experienced having money to buy a new car every year, and at the same time experienced my mother coming to me and saying, we have to break your piggy bank because we cannot buy food. So being out of money doesn't scare me because I have been through that many, many times.
Mm-hmm.
I have also experienced this many times. I have been here in Portugal without any family, without money to pay for my food, having to sell my things on secondhand websites because I cannot survive, even working. So I was working, but out of a sudden, I don't have money. This time is different because I have 2 daughters. That's the only big difference, which is the big difference.
Huge difference. Yeah.
A huge difference. Yeah. So when I saw that I was going through this, let's say, financial scarcity wave, because I know that it comes and goes. I have experienced this. I have seen my father go through it. I have seen my grandfather. I knew that my great-grandfather also went through this. So I knew it was going to pass. The problem was, how do I feed my daughters? How do I keep them on school? And even more important than that, I saw my older daughter starting to manifest the same behaviors that I know really well, that my sister also knows really well. My sister was also going at a time into a scarce financial period. So I was talking with my sister. I said, we need to end this. She also has a daughter. So we need to end this because otherwise it's going to just perpetuate into the next generations, if you believe in this kind of stuff. And I said to her, let's work together. Like I'm going to coach you and you help me out also on these topics. And she said, okay. And at that moment, people started to come to me, people that I haven't talked to in years, sharing that they were struggling financially. And I'm like, holy moly, like we are not alone in this. So I remember also reaching out to my sister and said, hey, I'm going to create something just so that we can go through this process of challenging this situation together. Because as a coach, as a team coach, as working in companies and in teams for so long, I know the power of working to solve a complex problem in a group setting, right? So the abundance flow originated in my own struggles with abundance, not in actually manifesting abundance, but keeping that abundance, amplifying that abundance. And by the people who came to me, I realized that different people struggle on, let's say, different phases or dimensions of abundance. Some people struggle to manifest.
Okay.
Some people struggle to react to when life gives what they ask. Some people struggle to implement the actions after life says, okay, you wanted a job, here is the job. And they're like, oh no, I don't know what to do. Like, how do I proceed? Or how do I build a business? And me in particular, and my sister, are struggling on the end of the wave of abundance. So we ask something, we get it, we react to life, we start building it, but then we do not maintain. We lose, we let go. And then this program was born. We are on our final month, and it has been amazing because what I thought could work worked. The people joined. We started with a in-person weekend in Lisbon. I took them to the ocean. I took them surfing.
Amazing.
I helped them connect the dots between the abundance in nature and the abundance in their lives. We also talked a lot about being in tune with your body, with your emotions, and with your mind, and how if they're not linked and connected, life doesn't know what to give you back. So when you are clear in your mind, in your emotions, and in your actions, life will respond to you in what you want. And this has happened. In less than 3 months, people have manifested what they wanted. And it's interesting because I was living proof as well of these concepts because I wasn't sure what to ask from life. Until that night, I made a decision to ask for something really clearly. I need help. And then I had close to 100 people reaching out to me. I created a GoFundMe on the suggestions of one of those people. And in less than 24 hours, I could pay rent that was late. So another proof that when you ask with intent and with clarity, you get it back.
And bravery that you had, because I don't think it's only, I mean, many people struggle. They're looking for work and they're asking, can someone give me a work because I need work? But I think it's the way, I guess, we ask, or the way you came across. And like you mentioned at the beginning, you were not really visualizing your work, which is very interesting coming from someone who's teaching Agile for Life. And it's the shoemaker shoes thing. I think it's when our work, it's not a painting, a design, something that we can easily hang and say, look at this, this is my work. I think it's very difficult for people to visualize their work. What would you say people who listen right now and they are struggling either financially or they're struggling because even they've lost work and work was attached to their meaning of life. And now there's been months of applying for jobs and they're losing hope.
Yes.
They're losing hope.
Yes. And we give up, or I believe that we give up when we lose hope completely. Not when we despair, but when we lose hope completely. This is what I felt as well. 2 things. What I normally say to people that were in this program that didn't know what to ask for life. So you ask that. Ask life to help you get clarity.
Okay.
If you don't have clarity on what to ask for clarity.
Okay. So I start with clarity.
And if you don't have clarity, you ask for clarity.
Okay.
Like, okay,
who do I ask for clarity?
Well, I ask for my network. I reach out to people that I knew that I didn't knew. Hey, I'm not being able to ask for clarity because I'm also in survival mode. So can you help me get up on my feet? And this came through. The help for me to get out of survival mode so I can think more clearly. So this will depend on the situation people are at the moment. Are they out of job, but do they have money to live through things, either because they got a compensation or because they have savings, whatever it is? Or are they really at the limit? So if they are at the limit and they cannot think properly because they are in survival mode, thinking about their existence, then I would say just ask for help. Come out, be vulnerable, share your heart, and I believe, or this is my belief, that when you do it from the heart, grounded, you're not in despair. I was not in despair when I asked for help. I was in despair before, but when I asked for help, it was a conscious decision. I'm going to ask for help, and I'm going to do it with intent. So I think this is also what came through. Like, okay, this person is owning this request for help. So asking for help with intent and grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you are not in this situation, you're just like, I have been trying and I'm just not getting what I want, going back to the design board and simply just do 2 columns. This is the easiest way to get some clarity. What you don't want from a job, and then list all the things that you do not want, and then what are the things that you do want. And when I say do want or do not want, I'm not talking about the role, I'm not talking about the money only. I'm talking about who do you want to meet at this job? What kind of people? What are the values of the company that you want to join? What are the kind of activities that you really, really like doing it and you want to find? And what are the things that you do not like? Because being laid off or being out of job is the perfect opportunity for you to really think on the things that you enjoy and do not enjoy.
Okay. And if a person listening, I'm going to push it to the limit. If a person listening to us have applied for 300 jobs in the last few months, or
Yes.
they've been applying, they're keeping a spreadsheet, and now they're at the point in life that they no longer care about the values of the company and they just want to get their foot through the door.
Yes. I still think adapting to the situation, having some sense of clarity will help you out. Meaning, okay, you just want a job. All right, let's detail that. What are the jobs that you see yourself opening to do, and what are the ones that you don't see yourself open to do? Because even on this, I just want anything, it may not truly be anything. Like if I invite you to work in a bakery, are you up to? Maybe yes, maybe not. So this exploration of what you want and what you do not want can help you with that. If still they open the list and they define what they don't want, and they define what they want, my belief is that things happen for a reason, even if it's just for you to learn something about yourself. For example, did I had complete control on being in this situation right now? Maybe not. Like I didn't created COVID. I didn't create a change in the agile market that suddenly stopped looking for agile coach and team facilitation training. I didn't started the whole AI revolution that shifted companies to focus on pretty much anything that is related with AI. I don't have any control on that. But I was unhappy with what I was doing. I wanted to know for sure, where should I focus in my life? What of myself, of my true self, that I want to bring out to the world? So in my belief, life said, okay, you want to focus and you want to really figure it out what you want to do. So let's remove the distractions and get you focused on this, on finding out. If this is the highest priority item in your backlog, so let's arrange your situation to this priority. And I've been talking with someone who reached out to me and didn't know me, Alexander Kliotkin, and we're going to host a masterclass, a free session tomorrow on finding the job you want in 2026. He also helps people coming from a tech background migrate to a management role, and he has focused a lot also on the interview process, finding a job process, searching for a job process. So we're going to join our knowledge and create something practical, especially for people that are open to work. And we have already experienced people that weren't happy with their jobs and suddenly are laid off. And that was an opportunity for them to challenge, like, okay, what I was doing, was I really happy? Was that what I really, really wanted to do? Or should I shift my focus a little bit into something else? And then they shift their focus and this new opportunity appears.
Yeah.
That it would never appear if they were still in that job, because they were still on a completely different track and focus of their professional life.
Yeah. I guess we need to look around a little bit more, take the helicopter perspective and start finding opportunities or spotting them, because opportunities are probably all around us. It's maybe, like you said, it's very hard to see it if you're really desperate or if you're really living on the existential minimum.
Yes, and neuroscience backs us up on that. Like before I knew that I was becoming a father, I noticed that there were children and babies around me, but not that much. At the moment that I knew, and becoming a father and babies were an important topic for me, my reticular activating system, who scans the environment for inputs, start to see babies more and notify me, hey, I have seen a baby. It's important to you right now, so you noticed. If I'm not aware of this, I would think, oh, this is a baby boom. Like, oh, everyone is having a baby at the same time as me. The same way when you decide to buy a car or you find a car interesting, you suddenly start seeing that car everywhere in the street. The cars were already there. It just become more important to you. When you really identify what I want and what I don't want, and your true self, not what someone else decided for you or what you expect to be your role, and you define that clearly, you will start noticing the signs more. Not only looking for jobs on a job site, but the conversations that you have, the posts that appear on your feed, the kind of people that are around you at a coffee. You are at a queue buying bread, if you still have money to buy bread, and then someone start chatting right in front of you, and they are talking about the area that you're interested in.
Yeah.
Why not jump into a conversation? Maybe that is your new role appearing.
My first thought, because I live in Sweden.
Yeah.
It's jumping into a conversation in the queue. It's not happening. Nobody does it. Unless you know it's you both are 80 years old and you do that. I know that this phase was very important in your life. to sort of like a rebirth of Rafa, this new person that's coming in, and the confidence that you gained for 2026. But what if you didn't have to go through the pain?
I believe that we do what we are capable of doing it, and not reaching out for help sooner, not feeling lost in what I wanted to do. These were not possible realities in this current reality or this timeline, because if they were possible, they would have happened. So I was not capable of not shutting myself in and living through that. I think this is one thing that I don't know if everyone will agree with me, but I normally don't reject what I experience, no matter how hard it is. Like I don't ask myself, why me? Why am I living through this? From a place of like, there are many more people in the world that are probably not as civil or as caring as me, but why am I living this? I don't ask that, because I firmly believe that I'm living the consequences of my actions as well. So if I'm living through something, there is part of me that is co-creating this situation. So I focus on, okay, let's figure it out. What is the best that I can do in this situation? Of course, I'm not always capable of having that mindset, and I'm just going to live through this. I accept my fate, and I accept, in a sense, that I'm not going to do anything against it. And of course, this has negative consequences, not only for me, but for the people that I care as well. I, for sure, was not the greatest dad in the past few months, because I was not in my best shape. I was conscious of that, and I would feel guilty for that as well. So the only thing that I would say, if someone is going through something similar, is to really ask yourself, are you at the point of losing hope? Or do you feel hopeless? Because when you lose hope, I feel it's when you really, really disconnect from the world around you, from the people that love you, and the dark thoughts start appearing. So if you are at this moment, then I feel that's the moment to reach out for help. Be it professionally, be it in private, be it in public. That's what I know in my heart, because that's what I felt. And from what I talked with other people who resonated with my message and said, hey, I had those dark thoughts as well. I thought about ending everything. I thought about letting go of my life because I was losing hope. It was too much to bear. That's the moment to really, really reach out to a helping hand.
What gives you hope as we go into 2026, now that this chapter feels like it's you're leaving behind?
My two daughters, at the same time, they are an additional weight to the whole situation, meaning that at the same time that they are what keeps me grounded in my responsibilities as a father, of like, yeah, Rafa, you can end your life. It's going to probably be easier for you, but it won't be easier for them, for their mother. And so it has dire consequences. So they keep me not even hopeful. It's more like responsible. Like, hey, you brought them to the world. So it's your responsibility, or at least your obligation. Responsibility is a choice for me. So I choose to be responsible for them. And this is what kept me going. I don't know if connected to hope, but more connected to responsibility. What brought me hope was actually all the response that I got from the video I shared. All the people that either worked with me 10, 15 years ago and I haven't heard from them ever since, reaching out and say, hey, Rafa, I really feel you're going through this. I always cherish the moments where we worked together or when we did this. Or people came to me and say, Rafa, I always think of you because of what you said in a course one time. Or, hey, mate, I was thinking about sharing this project with you, I don't know, for years, but I haven't done it, and almost feeling like time is of the essence. Like, you may not have another opportunity, so I'm just going to share it with you now.
Yeah.
And that brought me hope, especially in the whole impersonal moment that we are living in life at all spheres. A lot of polarization, a lot of hate, a lot of wars and conflicts. It felt like, oh my God, like there is generosity in humanity left. I was in such a dark place that I was kind of like getting influenced also about all these things happening outside. So I tap into that every once in a while. In these past days where I was starting to feel not that great, I would just close my eyes and remember all the amazing things that happened ever since I shared the video. And this gives me a little bit of warmth inside, especially with the bad weather days that we have been having here in Portugal.
Surprisingly in Portugal.
Yeah. So we also have them. Not that common, but we also have them. So this generosity connects me to hope, and my daughters connect me to responsibility and obligation, I would say.
What's next for Rafa in 2026? What will you create? How can we work with you? How can we learn from you? What's going on?
So interesting enough, the day after I shared my video, someone that I do not know at all reached out to me, said they saw my video and became my coaching client. So I got a coaching client out of the blue, literally.
Congrats. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you. I'm still talking with a lot of people to understand if there is a project or a fit for me in this next near future. And another thing that I decided to do was around March 2026, launch a new edition of the Abundance Flow program, mainly because I love to do it. One thing that really gets me in the zone is hosting people, having them go to the beach, do group work, inner work, dance, eat good food. I love it. So this is definitely happening, and I'm just figuring out the dates and the location. And these are the only things that I know for sure. Well, I'm going to continue training a lot, surfing a lot, teaching surf. These are the things that I know for sure.
Great. So the video you talked about that triggered even our conversation, I will link that below. But also your LinkedIn is that the best way to contact you? Or is there some other way that we can reach out? I
would say for now, LinkedIn is the best one. You have there my call link, so you can book a chat with me if you would like to philosophize or brainstorm about anything that you have heard here, or even coding in AI tools, personal finance, relationships, sports, surfing. So you can also reach me out there, and stay tuned for these new beginnings.
Fingers crossed, or I don't know if that's like the right way to do it, but like I'll be cheering from the
sidelines.
I'm cheering for you from the sidelines. That's the word. I'm cheering for you the sidelines, and I know that you're also bringing back your podcast. So I invite everyone else to check out Rafa's podcast once it's out there, ready to listen.
Definitely. And on the record, you, Beata, are also invited to be a guest. So,
Yay. I'm going to be a guest. That's
yeah.
amazing. Thank you for that. And thank you for being open and willing to share your story. I feel like I want to have a follow up in some months and then see where you at, what you're doing. It's not a reality show, but I feel like it would be great to follow up your journey a little bit more and inspire others, because I know for a fact there's a lot of people that go through not exactly what you're going through, but people go through a huge disturbances right now when it comes to their life. I meet people almost every other day. And I think we need this sparkle of hope and someone's story to be inspired by. So thank you a million times for joining us today.
Thank you as well, Beata. If anything that came out as a positive was, all right, I'm living something similar, and sharing out vulnerably in private or in public, whatever you feel it's the right choice, helps you in any way, and anyone listening in any way overcoming or just living through this phase, then I feel that it was already worth it, because it has happened already. A lot of people, especially men, reaching out to me, say, hey, it was brave what you did. I don't know if I was going to be able to do it, or this gave me strength to take some different actions and maybe share with my significant other that I'm not okay, or maybe seek out professional help if that's they feel like it. So it already brought so much more good than all the fear that I had in sharing it.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you as well.